What's up, YouTube? DJ Kryptonite here, talking combat sports, boxing. It's a great night of boxing, but I just want to focus primarily on the main event last night. Um, Errol Spence versus Ugas. Man, that was a good fight. Like for maybe 3 or 4 rounds, it was a very, very competitive fight. Maybe up until the sixth round. Very competitive. Ugas was holding his own. You know, he was pushing back, being fairly aggressive with Errol Spence. Um, I thought it was a very good fight. I know I'm getting right into it. I know it's Easter Sunday. Everybody's probably focusing on that or what have you. But anyway, happy holiday to folks who celebrate that or acknowledge that holiday. But other than that, it was a great fight. Great fight. Errol Spence did exactly what he said he was going to do. Man down, strap season. He did exactly that. It kind of worked out or kind of played out exactly how I felt it would. Errol Spence kind of breaks people down with combinations of punches, volume punching, but he was actually sitting down on a lot of these punches. Early on, he was sitting on a lot of them, but he wasn't very accurate with them. And then he just started letting his hands go more so just to touch him. And the more he touched him, the more he got his timing down, and he started to do damage, especially on that right eye. I believe it was the right eye that was swollen shut. At one point, I thought the ref should have stopped it because he really couldn't see. But I think he gave him maybe 2 or 3 opportunities. But the ref gave the doctor 2 or 3 opportunities to stop the fight. But the doctor did not stop it. But ultimately, he finally did because Ugas couldn't see. He couldn't see anything coming from the right side, and Errol was exposing that fairly regularly. And you know, it ultimately led to the stoppage, which was great. I don't want to see anybody damaged because you know you never want to see fighters take that kind of punishment over. You know, volume punches are much more difficult to recover from than flash knockouts or knockdowns. It's one punch. You may get it's not a whole lot of brain damage associated with it, so to speak. But opposed to someone just beating on you for 10 rounds straight with headshots, you know, if at some point you're going to be concussed, and the recovery is pretty rough. You're pretty much never the same. I've never seen Ugas get beat like that with the volume of punches that he was getting hit with. So hopefully he's okay. A lot of boxers that suffer those kind of defeats or those kind of defeats, they never are really the same. But hopefully he's okay. I'm hopeful. He looks like he had all of his scruples at the end of the fight. So anyway, I guess moving on to what's bigger and better. Was funny how Errol Spence said, you know what's next. Everybody knows what's next. Everybody knows what I want. I want Crawford, and I'm coming for his motherfucking belt. I thought that was pretty cool. So it looks like Errol Spence is extremely focused on actually unifying all of the titles and becoming undisputed welterweight champ. And the only man that's standing between him and that goal is Terence Crawford. So I'm interested to see if Terence Crawford can kind of weather that storm that Errol Spence puts on people. That it's a fairly sustained, aggressive approach. And he seems to switch up his tactics. He's almost like, and I'll get into it. I'll do a video on the pre-fight analysis and the prediction. But what I think Errol Spence turned into yesterday, and I always compare current boxers to people who did it before them and was very successful. Errol Spence didn't do what he did to Danny Garcia and Mikey Garcia, which he showed some a tactical approach to just outpointing people. That's what he was doing with his last couple fights. He was outpointing them, showing his skill level, movement, and that sort of thing. In this particular fight, he did what Andre Ward did to, I believe it was Kovalev. And Andre Ward he's a tactical and technical fighter. But when it's time to get down in the trenches, He is a dog. And Errol Spence showed that side of him. So it didn't look pretty at times, but he puts himself in a position on the inside to be extremely accurate, and the punches are coming from different angles. Like if you saw in his approach, he would step to the side of Ugas and throw the uppercut. He wasn't directly in front of him. He would throw it from a side of him where Ugas really couldn't even see where the punch was coming from. And that's a testament to great training, putting yourself in a position to throw punches at angles that your opponent can't see. And that's exactly what Errol Spence was doing. Like I said, it reminded me of Andre Ward. Andre Ward was very good at that. His fights were never really pretty, but when he went on the inside, it was something to see. It didn't look very effective or pretty, but he put himself in like positions where his opponent couldn't react to the punches that were thrown. And that's exactly what Errol Spence did. It was actually great to watch how he changed his tactic from fighting on the outside, throwing the jab and trying to use some length. And I think at some point he realized that Ugas was a longer fighter. And what was happening was Ugas was beating him to the punch. Ugas was, his shots were landing first because of his length and his reach. And I think he realized he had to do something different. I think that the reach advantage was about 1.5 inches. I think it was 73.5 to 72 or something to that effect. Not that significant, but when you got two skilled fighters in there, those inches matter. So, like I said, it was a great fight. Errol Spence winning his bag. Ugas didn't have any more tools in his belt to make any more adjustments. And combine that with the fact that he was injured, his eye was injured. So it just made for a long night for Ugas. But anyway, he fought valiantly. Hats off to Errol Spence. Now it's on to the next one, Terence Crawford, and we'll see how that one goes. Like I said, we'll be speaking on that one quite a bit because that's kind of the fight everybody wants to see. I'm sorry about the length of the video. I was trying to keep it under 5 minutes, but I just started to get a little long-winded. But it was a great fight. Hope everybody enjoyed the fight. Again, I'm a boxing fanatic, so it was a great fight. Anyway, you guys have a great holiday if you celebrate it, and we'll be speaking soon. Like, subscribe, comment, and be safe out there. And enjoy this beautiful weather if you're on the East Coast. Deuces.